Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I'm going to talk about a story I seen yesterday, and I was going to do it, and then I just started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it. This story right here is out of Tarrant County, which is up there near Dallas, Texas. And I want to talk about this woman right here. Take a look. This lady's name is Shalonda Hayes, 34 years old. She's a Dallas area rapid transit driver, or DART is what they call it up there. So she's some type of bus driver. This woman, whether she was coming from work or going to work, she was still in uniform, was driving in her car, and she wound up getting charged with evading arrest, unlawful carry of a weapon, impersonating a public officer, a whole bunch of stuff. Why? Because she was speeding, got pulled over, and refused to get out the car. Refused to get out the car. Now, I just did a video earlier about a girl acting a fool last year and how belligerent and stupid she looked while acting like a child. Same stuff here. This woman, they gave her a $14,000 bond, wound up, the only way they got out the car, after hours long in the standoff, holding up traffic on the highway. They got the SWAT team and everything out there because she's seeking attention that bad and so belligerent to prove that she ain't gonna do what she told. They shot tear gas in the car to get her out. Still didn't work. You know what? Look at this video. Some people are just retarded. No offense. Take a look.
At 5 o'clock, we now know it was a DART employee who caused a very tense standoff yesterday afternoon on a North Texas highway. This thing ended up involving SWAT teams, police, shut down the highway for hours. Amelia McGavro has been digging into this all day because so many people were caught in this. Live in Bedford, what is the latest info we have on what happened?
Yeah, Doug, just in the last hour, we learned that that driver was a DART operator for Dallas Area Rapid Transit, and she is now facing multiple charges tonight, all for causing that very tense standoff you mentioned, which all really simply began from a simple traffic stop. So this is who we're talking about. It's 34-year-old Shalonda Hayes. That's who Bedford police say is that driver. She's out of Fort Worth, and you can see she's actually wearing her blue DART uniform in her mugshot. DART would not tell me how long she has been their employee, but did tell me that her employment is now pending due to the ongoing investigation. But walking you through all that happened yesterday, according to investigators, Hayes was actually pulled over by police for speeding on eastbound State Highway 183. Police say as she was being pulled over, Hayes then called 911 and told dispatchers that she refused to get out of her car, and then she said she had a gun in her car. Police tell us they then shut down the highway a little before noon, causing miles and miles of traffic. Officers then told us they tried to negotiate with Hayes before calling SWAT teams. SWAT and police then eventually used tear gas to get Hayes out of her vehicle. The highway was then reopened around 3 p.m. But I actually spoke to TCU criminology professor Johnny Nahn just to walk me through why police and SWAT teams used all of these drastic measures in this case.
That is pretty routine when somebody has a gun. Again, it's a dynamic situation and seems very excessive. But what SWAT does is just kind of minimize the risks to the officers. So it could be a handgun. It doesn't matter. They're going to treat the situation, whether it's regardless of gender, regardless of race, they're going to come in the same exact way.
Now, investigators tell me that Hayes was taken to an area hospital after she was arrested, then transferred to the Tarrant County Jail, where she is now facing multiple charges, like I mentioned, including evading arrest and then unlawful use or unlawful carrying of a weapon, as well as an impersonating an officer, Doug.
All of that makes sense, but you just said impersonating an officer. So why is she facing that particular charge based on what happened?
Yeah, Doug, good question, because police actually tell me that at the scene, Hayes told officers that she was actually either a Dallas police officer or a DART officer, which in fact was not the case. She was only a DART operator. So, of course, I did some digging. I actually requested that very 911 call that Hayes made to police at the scene, and we were denied that request because this is, of course, an ongoing investigation. But I've also requested the arrest affidavit. So, of course, a lot more to unpack on this case in the coming days, Doug.
Like they were saying, she supposedly was being charged with something about impersonating her officer or calling the people and telling them she a cop too. I guess that was going to make them leave her alone. But either way, man, wrong is wrong. And this woman looks stupid as hell. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of grown-ups nowadays are just big babies, adult-sized babies. Why couldn't you get out the car? Couldn't follow a lawful command. You know how many people get blasted every day because they can't follow a simple order by a police officer. Whether you like cops or not, they're here for a reason, and they will blast your ass if you act out of place. And I'm going to tell you guys all something else, and this is real. If she was a black dude, if that was a black man doing that shit, you think he would have survived it? They definitely would have treated him better than they treated her better than they would have treated him. Why? Because they look at men as supposed to know better. And a lot of times, a lot of women get away with murder. Literally. They shot tear gas in the damn car. She's so stupid and trying to be defiant. She gonna sit there with her head half out the window, looking stupid, trying not to throw up. I know that shit was burning her ass up. She's just sitting there looking dumb. The shit just going around her. How dumb can you be? All that to prove a point. I ain't get out the car though. You ever have somebody like that? You get into an argument with them or you get to going back and forth with them and you're like, well, that's why such and such happened. But I still didn't do what they told me to do. I still do what I want. Like that type of stuff. You see that in adults nowadays. It's crazy. It's like a child when they're young and you're like, don't touch this. And they'll get near it. And you're like, you better not touch it. And they'll get near it. And then they'll touch it real fast. And then when you do something to them and crack their behind, they cry and act like it's your fault, like you did something to them. Same type of behavior we seeing now. You know you were speeding. You know why the cop was behind you. The refusing to get out the car and giving all a bunch of mouth and all this type of stuff, that's your fault. That ain't nobody else's fault. It's like, man, people are so defiant on just not wanting to hear what somebody got to say to them, or just they so bent on being dominant to where I'm going to show you I'm not going to do what you want me to do, and I don't care about anybody else. It's like people take pride in being assholes. You notice that? Hey, ma'am, sir, whatever you're doing, you're messing it up for everybody. I don't care. Let's go shoot the park up with kids there. Let's go fight at a wedding that we ain't even a part of. Let's go and cuss people out in the grocery store that are just trying to go to and fro, getting their basic everyday needs. That's a privilege for them as it is for us. Other people don't care like that. That's the thing. This woman, they said they don't know if she got a job. She currently suspended pending investigation. They have a union. She'll most likely keep a job. A dumbass need to be fired. It's like people do stuff sometimes and they don't even think about what happens or if they'll land safely over that when they jump that gate or cross that line. Somebody like that I wouldn't want in charge of driving people around and being in charge of other people's safety. I start looking at stuff from a common sense level. Ma'am, you in charge of driving a lot of people to and fro and this and that, but you can't drive yourself safely home. We can't have you no more. What that got to? It got a lot to do with that because we don't want a lawsuit. We trying to run an honest business here and don't want to get sued for millions of dollars because you can't even drive yourself home. How you gonna drive somebody? Then you start doing that to people. People need to start thinking like, soon as them lights come on, okay, damn, I don't want to act crazy with these people because I got a good life. Some people don't see it like that. How can you build with a woman like that? She don't seem like she bad looking. How do you build with a woman like that? What if she got kids? If she raised them by herself, what the fuck you think they gonna be when they get over there? Seeing her doing that. Stuff like this is why you see a lot of young black men out here nowadays clapping their hands when they talk, getting smart, repetitive speech when being asked a question, real annoying when you try to carry an adult conversation with them, even at an older age, or fighting on women and all this other stuff because they seen dominant females like this. And you can't build with people like that. That's why there's a lot of people now that's unbuildable and they're just floating out here in limbo, causing problems for everybody else because they can't figure themselves out. I'm just saying. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Whatever she gets, she get. But she just created a real messed up day, thus making her problem, which wasn't a problem at all, could have just got a ticket for speeding, everybody else's problem. What if the cop pulled her over? She was in uniform, cooperated with him, boom, gave her the ticket. She'd have left. She would have never got busted for the gun. She'd have never got busted. It's like people create. Their attitude is like a blinking arrow sign pointing to them like, hey, I'm a problem, and they like it. Shit is stupid. See you in the next video. Take care.